enclose it to make it safe, basically. Now, the second one we saw was the double ampersand, which means and. So here, again, we're enclosing stuff with parentheses. Here, we're saying if 5 is less than 10 and 7 is less than 10. Okay, that's what that and does. So so long as 5 is less than 10, as well as 7 is less than 10, you'll echo out both 5 and 7 are less than 10. But if even one of these is false, you know, one could be true and the other could be false. So long as one of them is false, the overall value generated will be a false value, because this and says both of these have to be false. So it's saying 5 is less than 10 has to be, sorry, both of these have to be true. So it's saying 5 is less than 10 has to be true, and 7 is less than 10 has to be true. And only then will I output both 5 and 7 are less than 10. Let's check on these two statements to see if they output. So the first one, we're hoping that my var is equal to 0 will not output, because the value in my var is equal to 5. And so 5 should not be equal to 0, clearly. Let's refresh, and we don't get any output, so that worked. Now the second one, both 5 and 7 are less than 10. Let's check that. Okay, and it outputs. That's a good sign. Let's just make sure this works. Say 5 is less than 10 and 11 is less than 10. Let's refresh that. Okay, and immediately the statement goes away. If I change that back to 7 and change this to 11 as well, change it around, it's still not there, okay? And if I change that back to 5, save, refresh, it reappears as expected. And the final, well, almost the final one, is the double vertical line, yeah? And that meant, if you remember, that meant or. So it's a similar idea to our and, the double ampersand, but it means or. So in this case, 5 is less than 10 can be true, but 11 is less than 10 doesn't have to be true. Okay, because so long as one of them is true, because we're using the OR logical operator, either one can be true, and using the double vertical line, both of them can be true as well. That will work. So in this case, 5 or 11 is less than 10, it's outputting as expected. If we change that round, we change this one to 5, we change this one to 11, still there, okay. And if we change this one to 7, so both of them are true, we can see it still outputs, okay? So that's a case where both of them will work. But the final operator we saw was the XOR, okay, which meant that only one of them can be true, and if both of them are true, it won't work. So let's change this double vertical line to XOR. Now both of them at the moment will be true, so let's see if this will output. Refresh, and no, it's disappeared, of course. But if we change one of these so one of these is false, whoops, then refresh, it reappears, okay? So there we have the XOR operator. Now the final two operators I want to talk about are the identical to operator or the not identical to operator. If I uncomment these so you can see them a bit more clear. The identical to operator is 3 equal signs, and the not identical is 1 exclamation point and 2 equal signs. And basically, for this one to be true, the identical, the value inside has to be the same, and the type of the value has to be the same. So the value, for instance, if we said if my var equals 5, that will be true because the value inside my var is 5, and the value inside my var is an integer, as same as the value we were checking. Okay, I couldn't think of any scenario where this could be, where we could get this to be false with the same type but a different value. Oh, sorry, the same value but a different type, if you understand me. Basically, there may be a situation where you'll realize, hey, wait a minute, an equal to or not equal to sign won't do. I need an identical to or a not identical to logical operator. sorry, comparison operator is what it is. So there you're set. You know what these are and you can use them. But otherwise, I couldn't really think of anything. So that's it for this tutorial, I guess. Then, guys, you've learnt about the logical and comparison operators, which we can use in our if blocks. Oh, and by the way, I only used ifs here. I didn't use ifs, else ifs, or ifs and elses, or ifs, else ifs and elses, but just to simplify it. So yeah, that's all. Anyways, guys, over and out.